Kevin Graham of the 543rd class of trainees. In the name of the goddess above, I hereby appoint you a squire of the Septium Church. I humbly accept my appointment. I pledge to offer my soul to the goddess above, and both body and blood to her church on earth. Very good. It is exceedingly rare for one at your age to be appointed to this position. I can only assume your aptitudes and training achievements warranted it. May you strive to be a worthy guardian of the goddess's sacraments as her loyal and devoted servant. Well, if it isn't Kevin. I see you managed to avoid having your promotion rejected by the top brass. Splendid, splendid. Instructor, I really can't thank you enough for all you've done for me. I never dreamed I would have an actual dominion supervising my training. How sweet of you to say. Hard to believe you're the same boy who waltzed up before the congregation for the sacrament shouting, "Make me a knight, please!" I'd appreciate it if you chucked that memory back into the furthest reaches of your mind, thank you. Oh, but how could I? Had I missed your grovelling, I never would have taken an interest in you in the first place. And not in a million years would I have thought you were related to Rufina. You could have asked her to take you on as her pupil before resorting to such drastic measures, you silly boy. Well, I had my reasons. Let's leave it at that. Very well. It doesn't matter at this point anyway. Congratulations, you're now a dog of the church just like the rest of us. It's good to have you on board. Thank you. I'm not sure that's the most reassuring metaphor to be using on new recruits, though. You might scare some of them right off. Please, you're not trying to position yourself as some sweet, doe-eyed thing, are you? Besides, I think it's a perfectly apt description for us. We go around sniffing out sacraments, wherever they may be, tearing through the throats of the heretical fools who are enamored with them all the while. Can you spot the difference? Come on, instructor. I'm used to you at this point, so I don't really care if you call me a dog. But do you care if I call your beloved Rufina one, don't you? Not to worry, Kevin. I can read between the lines well enough. Well, did I guess right? I owe her a lot, but I wouldn't call her my beloved. She's just like a big sister to me, that's all. You're making it sound like like you... what, exactly? Rufina? I thought you were in Remiferia on a mission. I was, but I tried to finish as quickly as possible so I could be back for your appointed ceremony. I'm so proud of you, Kevin. It's amazing just how fast you've grown. Now you're a full-fledged adult like me. Wow, thanks for going out of your way to come here. I'm not sure I deserve to be called an adult yet, though. I've got a whole lot of work ahead of me if I want to be half the knight the two of you are. Oh my, how modest of you. By the way, have you let Reese know about all of this yet? Not yet. I'm planning to write to her tonight. She's been real mad at me ever since I decided to come to Arteria, though. Hopefully this will cheer her up a bit. There's not much else I can do to make up with her short of going home. Perhaps we should do that together at some point if we can find the time. Oh, and while I have the chance, thank you so much for looking after him all this time, Ein. You've given up so much of your free time and I really do appreciate it. Think nothing of it. It proved quite a fun way to kill time. He has a fair amount of potential in combat arts and thaumaturgy too. It's a shame all of his skills are on this practical side of things, however. His academic side is less than stellar. I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that may be the case. Oh, right, I've got to get going. I have to pick up my new room key and medal from the General Affairs guys. Sorry, I'll talk to you later. Oh. What's this? You look so concerned. Feeling guilty because he followed you into such a dangerous line of work? Not at all. That was completely up to him and him alone. I would never try to dictate his life choices. It's just that I think he'll make a fine knight personally. He checks all the boxes, he's got the potential, he's got the determination. All in all, I can see why you're so proud of him. And call it a hunch, but I wouldn't be surprised if a stigma manifested in him just like it has in you. Well, I'm impressed. I didn't think you could sense that of others if you didn't possess one yourself. Yet one more reason to feel frustrated that you aren't a Dominion. I know we're friends, but there's no need for all the flattery. My combat and thaumaturgy skills are average at best. I wouldn't be cut out for the job at all. I'm grateful enough to have been promoted from Squire to Knight. That's the upper limit for someone with my lack of potential. If only you saw things the way I do. Someone with average at best abilities couldn't have handled your Ouroboros case half as well as you did. Fighting off a man of that reported strength to a swift enough conclusion would be a pretty feather in anyone's cap. It was just my luck that we both came to an understanding. As far as Kevin goes, he wouldn't need to rely on luck. His potential for growth exceeds further than I'll ever be able to go. But he has one weakness holding him back. That poor boy is just far too kind. So kind, in fact, that I can see him driving himself into a corner because of it one day. Wow, imagine being held back because you're too kind. Well, welcome everyone to the next chapter, Chapter 4, The Dark Stigma. So let's get stuck in, my lovely Trails fans. See who we're gonna get. It's a buy one, get one free offer. That looks like... Zin? Prince Oliver? Now this is a surprise. Don't think this is a dream, at least. Indeed, it is not. I would be overjoyed to share a sweet date with Cher in my dreams, one with a fine drinking companion, not so much. This is real, alright. Still, doesn't Cher count as a drinking companion too? In a way, it's fine to be drunk with the joy of her company, but it is very much the opposite to be drunk with alcohol involved. That's one of the most important lessons I learned during my stay in La Belle. Truer words have never been spoken. But alright, enough playing around. You guys mind filling us in on just what kind of situation we've gotten ourselves into? We shall make with the embraces and tearful greetings afterwards. Honestly, you two really are something special. You'd think you'd be a little shaken finding yourselves in somewhere as unnatural as this out of nowhere. This is quite the pickle. I appreciate that it may be hard to believe, but that is the situation we find ourselves in at this present time. If we're to try and find a way out, we'll need you to accept that. Oh, Mueller, my sweet rose-kissed muse, ever pure and free of thorns, you misunderstand me. I have long accepted our predicament as reality. Then why do you look so deep in thought? Need you even ask? Perhaps my life's toughest decision lies ahead of me. Before me I find Joshua, Princess Claudia, Tita, and Gisette. Then there's Julia and even a new face, Reese. Just whom shall I gather into my arms like a warm blanket and exchange sweet nothings in celebration first? Only you. Joshua? You were pulling my leg when you said this guy was an Erebonian prince, right? Hard as it is to believe, he is. Putting my deeply earnest dilemma aside for the time being, it sounds as though you've been making some headway in unraveling the mysteries behind this place. Naturally, I would be more than honored to help with that. But first, you've got a few questions you need to ask, right? I know I sure do. I should have known you would be thinking along the same lines. You're exactly right. Fine by me. What do you want to ask? Do you think you figured something out? That's what I want to find out. First, I want to ask about that ghost you've encountered in here. Ask away. If I remember correctly, the first time you met her was on the balcony in Gransel Castle, yes? Indeed it was. She gave us the key that allowed us to eventually find and rescue you. That was the first time she appeared to us as a ghost, but I don't believe it was the first time she directly communicated with you, was it, Father? Don't think so, anyway. When Reese and I first arrived here, we heard a strange voice talking to us. We didn't have a clue who it belonged to at the time, but I think that was probably her too. As do I. So at first she existed here only as a voice, but she's gradually started showing up with a body too. I know that's a weird way to put it, but if it's true, it backs up what the man in black said last time we saw him. Yeah, he said the Lord of Phantasma had stolen most of her power, right? He kept referring to her as the Hermit and Master of the Hollow Garden too. Plus, the inscription on that monument behind us has the Hermit's Garden written on it. I think all of us here can connect the dots just fine. Agreed. It's reasonable to conclude that this very garden is connected to her in some way. That's true. Makes sense to me. It also explains why this place is kinda comfy compared to the other weird, fiend-infested places in Phantasma. Feels like we're getting closer to the truth with every new revelation. By the sounds of it, she's been in Phantasma for a while now, possibly since the beginning. But then she had her power stolen by the Lord of Phantasma and ended up without a body. Since then, she's been trying to help us to the best of her abilities and guide us forward. If we assume all of that to be true, maybe the monuments scattered throughout are connected to her somehow too. They seem to exist for that same purpose, guiding us forward. I think there's one more thing in our possession that's connected to her as well. That cube, Kevin. You think so? Unfortunately, your guess is as good as mine on exactly what that cube is. That being said, I think the odds of it being connected to her somehow are as high as everything else on the list so far. Well, what do you think? Honestly, I'm impressed. You've done a remarkable job of making sense of the situation when you've only just arrived. Still, if we assume all that to be true, then there's something else we should be doing as we keep moving forward. Helping to restore her power, I assume? That way we should be able to ask her what else she knows about the land we're in. Got it in one. I get this impression that if we don't, we won't stand a chance against those two. We'll find ourselves up against a wall at some point. You may well be right. Well, leaving her aside for the time being, I do have one final thing I'd like to ask. Huh? What else is there to cover? It concerns that Lord of Phantasma you kept mentioning, actually. Put simply, you wouldn't happen to have any idea as to who they are, would you, Kevin? Why me? Well, from my perspective, they're awfully fixated on you. They seem to know about Reese's deceased sister as well. Then there's the fact they're even able to summon devils from the church's texts. It all seems to be pointing to you two, and you in particular. I can see why you'd ask, I guess. Unfortunately for you, though, I got nothing. If anything, I'd say they seem to be an enemy of the Grau Schritter as a whole rather than just me. I suppose that's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if an organization like that had more than their fair share of enemies. No offense, of course, I have plenty of enemies myself. Try not to sound like it's something worth boasting about. Anyway, even if we've connected some dots, we'll have to save the mystery behind who our enemies are for another day. Maybe we can get some information out of them the next time we see them, but until then we don't have enough to work with. Right, next time one of them shows up, we'll have to see what we can force out of them. So that about wraps things up for now. If so, we should probably get ready to head out again. We're on plane number 4, and if the previous planes are anything to go by, it's gonna be tough. Kevin. What's up? Did you have something else you wanted to add? No. It's just that I'm not feeling very well, so I'm going to sit the next plane out. What? I'm sorry for the trouble, everyone, but please look out for him on my behalf. He shouldn't cause you too much trouble, but as I'm sure you know, he can be a little careless at times. Reese? Wait a sec. Are you not going to go after her? Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. Reese! Wait a sec. What's with you all of a sudden? Oh, I know. Are you feeling left out because I'm the only one you know here and everyone else is all buddy-buddy? Sorry, Reese. Probably wasn't fun to have to sit through the whole happy reunion deal over and over when you can't know anyone. I should have noticed earlier, really. It's been pretty intense. When are you going to stop acting? Huh? It's true that I feel a little left out for a while. You've clearly gone through so much together and it's made you that much more fond of each other in the days since. Yeah, we had some amazing times. Hard to come out the other end of stuff we did without growing closer through it all. Watching you all, how could I not have felt lonely? How could I have not have felt jealous? You've been avoiding me for the past 5 years, Kevin. The thought that you've grown close to so many others while going out of your way to keep me out of arm's reach did make me sad. You know I didn't mean it like that, Reese. But at the same time, I was still happy you did. I knew how badly what happened to Rufina had hurt you, how you were still blaming yourself for it. I knew how you were driving yourself into a corner over it, and how you were taking on nothing but dirty jobs as if you were trying to punish yourself. And I couldn't confirm it for myself for sure, but I just knew the rumours that you were desperate to burn yourself out through them were true. So that's the reason. That's why, as lonely as I felt when you were off making new friends without me, I was really, really happy more than anything. Reese, you do know that. Except it turns out you haven't made any new friends at all. You're pulling the same exact thing you pulled with me on them. Every single one at arm's length. They can't get close to you. You won't get close to them. On the surface, you're a cheerful person having fun with everyone. But on the inside, you're as cold as can be. All you're doing is manipulating your own emotions so people think you're someone you're not. After watching you ever since we were reunited, that's become plain as day to me. Man, I'm happy you're worried about me, but you've totally got the wrong idea with this one. Sorry, I'm good at a lot of things, but pretending to be someone I'm not isn't one of them. When I'm happy, you'll know about it, and when I'm mad, well, I think you know I'm not so good at hiding that either. I'm the same transparent guy I always was. Oh, I didn't say you weren't easy to read, for me at least. After all, I know how genuinely shaken you were by the Lord of Phantasma's message. Their words, and the words of that Schwarzritter, always come across as cryptic, but not to you. Deep down, you know what they're talking about. You just constantly keep it from the rest of us and try to keep us in the dark. No, maybe you've even managed to pull the wool over your own eyes too. Come on now, you can't seriously. Devour the new offering presented to you, and display your seal once more. You know exactly what that means, don't you? Go on. You know what? Maybe you should sit things out for a bit. You're clearly really tired. What? I get that you're angry. You're as angry as you are upset with me, but I think it's starting to make you jump to some really out there conclusions. And being tired out's only going to make it worse. Can't you see how negative your line of thinking is? You can't seriously believe all this is actually true. I'm not saying I don't deserve all the anger, I totally do. I genuinely was busy, but at the same time I wasn't sure how to face you if we did end up meeting either. Still, we're gonna be working together from now on, so... Enough. Huh? Everything you're saying is just meaningless. Maybe the others don't realize that, but how dare you think I, of all people, would fall for it? I realize I'm turning my back on my duties as a squire by doing this, but I can't bear to be near you any longer. Can't stand to see the Kevin I thought I knew so empty, so... Kevin? Oh, hey. I'm sorry you had to see that. Don't worry about it. I want to know something, Joshua. You've looked into me a fair bit since I first stepped onto the scene, right? I have. I know that you're called the Heretic Hunter. I know that you're one of the 12 dominions that lead the Graal Shritta. And I know you undertake the execution of sinners the Church deems most unforgivable, almost single-handedly. Heh, I figured you'd know your stuff. Wouldn't want any guys whose backgrounds you hadn't thoroughly vetted being close to your girlfriend for long, huh? I can't deny it. Still, the only people you harm are those sinners, never anyone else. So I decided that, for the time being at least, you weren't a threat to her or anyone else. I see. Wiseman was your work too, wasn't it? Sure was. My job was to get rid of him. That's it. Everything I did with you guys leading up to that point was to get myself into a position to get done without him catching on. That includes helping all of you out naturally. Yeah, I know. You must have been aware of the possibility that Estelle would be taken on board the Glorious too. You thought allowing it to happen would help you in the long run, so you kept quiet about it. Wow. Now, that one I'm surprised you pieced together. But yep, you're absolutely right. I figured there was a chance she might get abducted, but I did exactly nothing to stop it. All I cared about was finding out what Wiseman and you were up to, and where you were, for that matter. Couldn't use better bait for that either. Couldn't use better bait for that than her. I thought so. Yet all of that doesn't change how I'm more grateful than words can express. Why is that? Because if you hadn't helped me back then, I would still be Wiseman's puppet. I would have broken with my own hands what I value most in the whole world. That's a debt I'll never be able to fully repay. Oh, sweet adios. Now you're just being cute. I know you're smart enough to realize that's not at all why I threw you a bone, right? I just wanted him off his guard enough to create the opening I needed. Helping you was the perfect way to do that. That was all there was to it. And again, that doesn't change how grateful I am to you. Knowing why you did what you did doesn't erase the gratitude I feel. Not in the slightest. It really is just as well you ended up quitting Ouroboros. You'd suck to high heaven if you were an enforcer now. Honestly, you're totally right. If Reese is sitting on the sidelines for now, let me help you in her place. Might not be as capable of helping you as she is, but I should be able to back you up. You don't need to feel indebted to me, you know? Well, I'll take what I can get. No doubt you're worried sick about Estelle too, so there's your gold star reason for helping out besides me. So thanks. I'm glad you've got my back. Right back at you. Okay, let's who should we go with? Let's just go ahead and stick these two in the party for now. We'll get that all situated and sorted out later. Actually, switch them out with Zin, because we have those doors to go and explore later on. But let's first of all catch up with everybody. Oh, nobody's here. Maybe they're all at the tree? Oh, there's a few of them. It's disturbing to think that we are literally fighting fiends taken from the church's texts. Then again, our enemies are capable of making a replica of an entire city. I suppose summoning mirrors and tanks are child's play to them. How have you been since we last met, Your Highness? Word of your popularity in Erebonia High Society has been reaching us all over in LaBelle too. Well, I'm doing a good enough job of convincing them I'm little more than an elegant yet harmless prince at the moment. Still, spending so much of my time pretending to be someone I'm not can be terribly exhausting. So I'm biding my time and waiting for the perfect chance to cast it all aside and reveal my true form to the world. Then all shall know Olivier, the Gospeler of Love. You moron. Gospel of love? That's what you're going with? Who else thinks he's going to be even more of a menace to society than the Black Orban Gospels ever were? It's reassuring to see how little he's changed at the heart, though. It's seeming more and more like we were all drawn in here at the same time, which is a relief in some ways. If that pitiful thing had been left in the outside world without me to watch it, I shudder to think what would have happened. I'd come to his defense, but no, I can't blame you. I guess the others must be at the library? Are you feeling alright, Reese? I can go and get you some medicine if it would help. You big dummy, she's not sick, she's angry. Huh? Come on, read between the lines. That phony priest obviously said something to make her mad, and this is the result. You're better off leaving her alone for now. But... If you want to keep lying to yourself, Kevin, then go right ahead. If that's what makes you happy, I won't stop you. But, as long as you keep doing so, I don't want to talk to you. Guess by the end of this chapter, we're probably going to have a big revelation. That's Cornelia. Interesting books here. Kitty Talk for Dummies. Pronunciation of the feline language has distinct characteristics depending on the region and may differ slightly from the following information. This could be considered comparable to dialects in the human tongue. Oh, we read that a long time ago. I think we've read all of these before. Yeah. Okay, so they're just books from the previous games, but we've got to go through them anyway, so that we can get closer to completing the achievement for reading all of the books here. Alrighty. We'll have a quick look to see if there's anything new to buy in the monolith. Looks like there might be. We'll have to be careful with our money and how we spend it. So right now the only way to really get more money is by fighting the Shining Palms and then trading it in for Sepith. Oops. Oh well, I probably would have had to have done that eventually. Oop. Okay, so we'll have to look at what we want to upgrade later. But first of all, let's go to the doors. Takes the skies. Where's the Zin door? Fist of Steel, which nothing in the world can move. I think it's this one. Maybe not. Oh, maybe it is. I shall grant to you a memory fragment and my blessing. Ah, good day to you all. The place you're about to enter is an arena where history's strongest warriors gather and eagerly await new challenges. And today you will have the opportunity to be those challengers. Do what you can to emerge victorious. I feel I must warn you, however, that this is a martial arts tournament like no other. Only the best may compete. The rules are simple. First, the 4 of you will form one team and step into the arena. There, your team will face off against 3 others, one after another, with no breaks in between. As for the rest, I'm sure you'll pick it up as you go along. Hehe. So what do you say? Would you be interested in joining us? Not right now. Okay, so I think this one might actually be for defeating a certain amount of enemies. think I could probably leave that until like the end of the game, when we're a bit stronger. Okay, this is the one for the Zin door. There we go. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. I see. I sort of expected it would only be a matter of time before you return to the Republic. Your mind is made up then? Afraid so. I've made the guys over there take care of everything without me long enough. Call it an A-rank bracer's duty to his peers and society, I guess. Well, I suppose when you put it that way. I do wish you could stay here a little while longer, but if that is your decision, I'll respect it. So, when are you planning on returning? Well, there's no point in lingering here any longer than I have to now that I've made up my mind to leave. So, honestly, I was thinking about tomorrow. Think I could ask you to arrange a ticket to Calvert for me? Well, certainly. Are you not planning to go and visit Killika first, though? I would have thought you'd want to. That was part of the original plan, but she wouldn't have any of it, surprise surprise. Her stance was, if you're going to waste time coming to see me, use it to go back to Calvert earlier and get some work done. Very well then. That doesn't sound like a position you'll be able to talk her out of. It's no big deal though. I mean, it's not like we'll never see each other again. I suppose it's very true. I'm not sure there's anything in Zemeria that could keep you two apart forever. It feels like that to me sometimes too. Well, regardless, I won't keep you any longer. So that's one ticket to Calvert for tomorrow, coming right up. Sorry, let me get this. Yes, this is the Grancel branch of the Bracer Guild. Ah yes. Yes. He's here as we speak, actually. Zin? Something up? It's Ambassador Cochrane at the Calvardian Embassy. She'd like to invite you on a hot springs trip. What? Two days later. This place sure brings back memories. The atmosphere is so relaxing. It certainly is. Maybe because it feels so similar to our hometown. Still, Ambassador Cochrane had me going for a while. When I first heard about this whole trip, I thought it was just going to be the two of us out here. Oh my, you look almost disappointed that it isn't. I'd be happy to take my leave if I'm getting in the way of your dream date with her. I'm good, thanks. She's not someone I've ever seen as a potential partner. Besides, it's you she wants to talk to, not me. This meeting might as well not be happening if you're not here. It never takes much to put you on the defensive, does it? It is beyond you to just play along a little. Gah. You just can't help but mess with people, can you? With you in charge of the Zeiss Guild, I'm amazed it still has any bracers left. Correction, I can't help but mess with you. I don't do this with anyone else. Would you be happy if that were true? Heck no. Ah, you've arrived. I've been waiting for you. Hey, Ambassador. Thank you for inviting us here today. Is something the matter, Zin? You seem oddly flustered. Me? I'm just fine. You're imagining things. Who could blame him, Ambassador? After all, he's a man on a hot springs trip with two beautiful women. That's hardly a recipe for a calm and composed mind, is it? Knock it off, Killika. I suppose not. If I were a little younger, I doubt I would be able to keep my hands off him myself. Eh? Alright, I suppose that's enough joking around. We should get our dinner. Miss Mao is going to be making tonight's food herself by the sounds of it. The serious discussions can wait until after that. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Likewise. So there's going to be a new intelligence agency set up at Calvert, huh? That's right. It's to be known as the Rocksmith Agency. And as the name suggests, it's going to be an organization that answers directly to the President. Really now? I see. I presume that this is so that Parliament can't have any influence over its operations. Correct. Perhaps this new agency's biggest advantage is that it's separate from all of those issues and vices. The last thing we need is an organisation like this suffering from Parliament's failures to make prompt decisions or general ineptitude, or being run in the same opaque and shady manner by a privileged few. That does sound like a good idea, I'll admit. We're never going to be able to compare to the Empire's intelligence division or LaBelle's old one if Parliament's at all involved. Quite. It's already difficult enough to get anything done in a nation with such a lack of unity. Guess that's just the fate of countries that take in immigrants by the truckload, though. Though honestly, I think the thing that surprises me the most is that the President's actually being proactive for once. He's always struck me as a real conservative type, so this isn't the kind of thing I thought he'd go for. That said, given the state of the Republic right now, it's hardly surprising that he would choose to act this way. Outside the country, we've got the threat of a rapidly expanding Erebonian Empire, while within we have terrorists and extremists. And to make matters worse, we have the enigmatic society on the loose. Evidently, something has to be done, and I think he knows that as well as anyone. Indeed, in the times ahead of us, we're going to need to be able to respond flexibly to a variety of new and unforeseen threats. Alright, I think my introduction to the matter has gone on long enough. It's about time I get to the point. Oh yeah, you've got something you need to specifically talk to Killika about, right? So, what position in the agency are you here to offer me? What? I love a sharp mind, Killika. Your instincts are, of course, dead on. We think your talents would make you perfectly suited to joining the agency, and are eager for you to be a part of it. That's why you'll be offered a position of Division Chief should you decide to join. And that's something President Rocksmith has proposed himself. Wow. What led you to being the one to bring this to Killika anyway? A fair question, I suppose. Ordinarily, this would be a scout's work, but I've known the President on a personal level for quite some time now, so he took it upon himself to ask me to come to you personally. That makes sense. Then what's his reason for wanting me? Surely you know that without asking, or do you want to hear it said anyway? Naturally, your masterclass Taito skills are one reason for you being selected by the President, but above all, he wants you for the exceptional analytical and information handling abilities you've shown in your position in the Guild. Those are just what the new agency is going to require if it's to succeed. Well, I can't say this doesn't all make sense to me. I'm more dumbfounded that you'd up and attempt to steal a capable member of the Guild right in front of an active bracer like this. That takes some nerve. Well, I do think rather highly of you. I thought you would be able to mediate without letting such trivial matters cloud your judgment. Still, what do you think, Killika? I'm not asking for an answer immediately, but I would like to know what's going through your mind. Well, it's certainly an interesting proposal. At the same time, I'm not sure I have any reason to accept it. But you have no reason to refuse it either. Am I right? Well... It's rare that you find it difficult to make quick judgments, but with such a big decision to make, I can't very well fault you. I won't rush you. Take a night to think long and hard about it. It was so you could do so that I booked a room here tonight. I'll ask for your answer again tomorrow. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Of course. Oh, and one more thing before I depart. If you ask me, remaining in your position as a simple guild receptionist just isn't going to let you use your abilities to their fullest. Well, a pleasant night to you both. You're out rather fast. Have you finished in the bath already? Fast? Seriously? I was in there for an hour. Oh. Man, it's not often I see you looking this deep in thought. I suppose you don't. I feel like I'm one step away from making a decision, but just need one last push to take it. Oh, right. Still, being here like this with you really takes me back. Hard to believe it's been 6 years now since Master Ryuga's passing. Sounds like you went on a heck of a journey between then and joining the guild too. You could say that. Going on a journey makes it sound like something I did deliberately, though, in reality it wasn't quite as organised as that. I simply drifted from place to place before ending up being drawn to one point where I settled. Much in the way a leaf that fell from a tree ends up floating down the river. Were you able to find that answer you mentioned a while back? No, I still haven't. Still, I do feel as though I found a conclusion of sorts. What's that supposed to mean? Seizin, why do you think I chose to take on a non-combat position like guild receptionist to begin with? Because you didn't want to follow the same path as idiots like me and Walter? I wouldn't follow us either if I were in your shoes. Not quite, although I'm not going to deny that the two of you are idiots. Hey, that was the one part I did want you to deny. I wanted to find out the meaning of the living fist ideology my father advocated. I still believe that being able to better oneself through combat while your opponent does the same is a good thing in itself. As a warrior, it's probably close to the ideal way. Still, I couldn't help but wonder why the ideology had to be based around the premise of fighting. I can certainly understand the significance of living and dying as a warrior. I can also understand how one who lived that way would have no regrets when the time to pass came. Nothing has changed within me in the regard since the days we trained together. Yet, with Father dead and Walter gone, I couldn't help but wonder. Wonder whether there was some way to make use of the living fist without having to fight. That was when I started roaming the continent in search of one. And as I roamed, I found myself face to face with countless conflicts and acts of violence, and I felt powerless every time I did. That was how I came to encounter LaBelle's guild. They had arrived to quell one of those conflicts. Something about their ideology, putting the safety of civilians over all else, made me feel that perhaps working under them may give me my answer. So that was what led me to start working for the guild. But even then, I wasn't able to run away from fighting completely. The nature of humanity means that as long as we exist, conflict will never cease. Instead, what's important is not blindly preaching idealism, but preaching ideals while keeping a firm eye on the reality of how to quell conflict. Master Ryuga's words have never left me. Nor have they left me. But all the same, I've been looking away from reality all this time. Come on now. You know full well that's not exactly true. When he says reality, he's not saying fighting is the be-all end-all of quelling conflict. That's not what I'm trying to say. All these years I haven't been trying to walk on my own 2 feet, not at all. I've just been trying to find a new way to live by Father's living fist ideology as an excuse to stand still, all while indulging myself in the comfortable environment the guild gave me. In that sense, I may be the biggest failure of Father's students. I might not agree with the path Walter took, but he, like you, has chosen his own path and started walking forward along it. You two have been facing up to the living fist ideal of Father's and slowly reaching your own conclusions on it. In your own ways, you've been able to face up to reality, and I haven't. I've been standing still the whole time. That's the biggest load of crock I've ever heard. You've been walking forward just like we have. In what way? It's just that the path you've been walking has been one for others rather than yourself. That river you think you've been helplessly drifting through, you've actually been building a bridge so others can easily cross it behind you. When the road is hard, you soften the ground so your fellow guildmates have an easier trek. There's no shame in your way of the living fist. It's as true as mine and Walter's. Are you trying to comfort me? Ugh, sorry for not having a way with words. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is this, you know? As a person, you're way too strong and way too serious. And at times, it's like those two things just end up restricting you and stop you from seeing things you otherwise could. So try and relax a little, alright? Just a little. If you do, I'll bet you'll start seeing things you couldn't before. Say Zin? What is it? Would you be happy if I returned to Calvard? What brought that on? It doesn't matter. Just answer the question. Okay. If I had to pick, I guess I'd rather you be back home, yeah. Why do you ask? Oh, no reason. I've decided I'm going to accept the President's proposal. Whoa, what? Just because of what I said? Don't misunderstand me. All I wanted was some kind of reason to bring this journey to an end, as well as a place to make better use of my skills. Ooh, I wonder if there's a bit of a spark between those two. That was the best night's sleep I've had in some time. I hope the two of you enjoyed your stay as well. I know I did. I'm feeling very refreshed, thank you. Refreshed enough to feel ready to take on a new position in a new environment even. Then, I would like to accept your offer. However, I have one condition for doing so. Oh? Name it. While I'm willing to join the President's new agency, I am not willing to stop living in line with my own beliefs. As such, if I should end up feeling the slightest doubt about how the agency itself is being run, I will do everything in my power to correct it from the inside using any means at my disposal. If he still wants my membership after hearing as much, please tell him that I accept his offer. Oh, that won't be a problem at all. I think he may well be encouraging you to take the reins. I believe he chose you expecting you to fulfill that role should it be deemed necessary. After all, you have experience in the Guild, an organisation which has managed to remain neutral and independent all this time. That's no mean feat. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Also, I'll need to get things ready for my successor, so I won't be able to return to Calvert for 2 or 3 months. As such, I won't be able to start work until then. That's perfectly understandable. Well, I look forward to meeting you again in the Republic. Likewise. Is something on your mind? Oh, I was just thinking about what you said back there. You said you'll need 2 or 3 months to get everything ready for your successor, right? Yes, I did. What of it? Well, while I'm guessing it's pretty busy over in Calvert right now too, it doesn't sound as though there's anything so urgent I need to be there now. So I was thinking maybe I could stay here for the next few months while you get things sorted out before I head back. You can't be serious. There's no reason why you should stay around here in LaBelle with me. Go back to Calvert. You don't have to be so cold. It's me, you know. Well, it's the truth. We'll end up spending enough time together whether we like it or not after I'm home. You don't need to go out of your way to make more now. Well... you win. There's no need to rush things. Zin, what are you standing there for? Oh. Sorry. You could say that before starting to walk off on your own, though. Ooh, we got the yin yang and 4000 mirror. That's gonna come in handy. Alrighty then, so that's going to be a great place for us to end our episode for today, everyone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you know when the next episode is coming out. Feel free to leave a comment on the video and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now.